Oh, I forgot to hit record. I'll just hit it now.
Perfect. Yeah, that's better.
It's nothing like being like 13 minutes into the show and then it just decides that it wants to just drop out and be like, "Hey, we're gone. Don't worry about us." It just randomly ends. Luckily, I think most people know at this point that it's like it should be like
A glitch.
it's a glitch in the matrix as usual.
Yep.
Did that was that was Facebook that did that, right? Yeah. Hello from Vegas. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened. Glitch in the machine as usual. Basically, YouTube decided that, hey, we don't want to listen to these guys anymore. Bye.
They say that we make a lot of noise, so it's like it's just like
what happened? I don't know. It just said shut down remotely, and it was like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all for going home and pretending like it's the end of the week, but anyways, all right. So it's Saturday. We got questions.
Yep. Thank you.
Not the phone.
El Fernandez.
Massachusetts in the house. I feel like we are. What's up, Dean and Fernando?
What's up?
Is it true that I can't run 3-ohm speakers on a kicker key like the JBL speakers? I was told no by Kicker. And you were correct. You were told no by Kicker because, yes, they don't want you to run 3-ohm or 2-ohm speakers on their amplifiers.
Just 4
It does not have a 2 or 3 ohm rating for it. It just has a 4 ohm rating for it. So the amplifier can't be bridged. It's made to do what it does, and that's it. That's one of the reasons why it's the size that it is, and you get the performance that you do out of it. When you go down a lower ohm load, you're asking the amplifier to put out more power. You're also changing how the amplifier perceives its output. So it changes the whole circuitry of the amplifier and what it's designed to do. So if it's designed to work at 4 ohm and not at 2 ohm, like most bigger amplifiers will go down to a 2 ohm load, and that's cool. So they're saying that nothing is really going to substantially change when you go down to that lower ohm load. Stuff does change, though there's no question about it. Things do change when you lower the ohm load and ask the amplifier to put out more power. But with a small amplifier like that, like a kicker key, that, you know, it's designed to be and what it's designed to compete against, those amplifiers typically do not run at 2 ohm. They don't bridge. They don't do stuff like that. So
yeah.
Don't worry, Jeff will be back. Jeff will be back at some point. Have you guys installed any hybrid audio Legatias? What does he have in his car?
Yeah, but we didn't install them.
No, we didn't install them. I mean, we've heard them, but
yeah. No, but we haven't installed.
It will hit protection. Kicker key can't run. Yep, under 4 ohm. That is correct. Just was at Clearwater Beach Tuesday, and by the
Hey,
dude,
he just
I wasn't reading that or nothing.
no, it just like change.
Okay.
Wish I could have stopped it. Yeah.
We wish you could have stopped too. I have 4 5 1/4 speaker openings in my motorcycle fairing. Currently have 4 coaxials in those. Was thinking it needs some bass. What are your thoughts on replacing 2 of the coaxials with 2.5 5 1/4 inch subwoofers? Let me ask you this, and this is the question that all motorcycle guys always ask. I want bass on my motorcycle. Bass, even like if you have bass in your car, okay, face it towards you, and like if you have an SUV or whatever, face it towards you and open that area up and fire it into it, okay? You don't get much bass because there's nothing for it to reflect off of. Now if you walk back 40 feet, then you'll start to hear the bass. So it really doesn't matter the size of the driver, it's the size of the sine wave that that driver's trying to produce. So even with a smaller driver, you still have to be far away from it or it has to reflect off of something. The problem that motorcycles run into is you can make them sound really good in a parking lot and get bass because like you can aim the speakers towards the floor or something like that. But while you're moving, it's harder to get bass. Some guys will aim them into the bike, but you need to have a way to capture that bass. So that's the hard part. So if you want bass while you're moving, it's going to be tough. If you want bass while you're sitting in a parking lot, well, then you could probably figure out how to do it, but you have to reflect them off of something. Just putting 2 subwoofers in a panel and firing them towards you, you're not going to have a lot of bass coming out of them, especially at 5 1/4. Now Dayton makes some really neat neo magnet 5 1/4s that are phenomenal, But there again, you run into that same problem. They need a subwoofer enclosure. They're not free air or infinite baffle, and that wouldn't be an infinite baffle situation anyways. So no, it's not going to give you the bass that you want.
Right. All right. Guys, for a 212 sub, what do you prefer, ported or seal?
I like ported because I like big, fat, boomy bass. I want to have that rise when that hits that tuning frequency that's nice and low, and it just like explodes and just gives me that sound. I like that over accentuation that the port provides for you. Seal box is fine. There's no doubt about it. It's just it's not as exciting to me. The music I listen to, just the sound that I like to hear. I like the ported box for that. Now you could build a seal box and put a ton of power on it. Okay, which will increase the output, which will get you back into that same spot, but most people don't want to do that. Most people want, they want a reasonably priced subwoofer and let's say a 300 to 600 watt amplifier. So ported box gives you more output.
Yeah. Okay.
But it can be done. You just have to spend more money.
All right. Where is it? Right here. I find a neat trick for the auto EQ
on the
Helix DSP. I auto EQ pink noise. Where is it?
Right there, flat each speaker individually after setting the crossover and time alignment. Okay.
See?
I haven't had a chance to play with their mic.
You can play with it.
Well, everything's fun to play with. Dean, why would a shop... Oh, hold on. Chuck Norris.
Where is it? Right here.
Dean, why would a shop use 4-gauge wire on a 4K
amplifier with a run band at least 20 feet? I asked why would you do that?
I have no idea.
He say, leave it. It was like that. It was like, really? I went, oh, okay. Oh, man. 3K. 3K? Oh, what it was? Right here. Yes, okay, it's a 4K. 4-gauge wire on a 4K amplifier.
My guess is there's like not the brightest guys out there. I mean, I can't speak for their intelligence level,
right.
But hold on a second. Let me do this. All right. A lot of people ask the question about power wire and all that fun stuff, and what should I run, and what's the best for this. And while we were sitting here talking, and Fernando was staring at the screen, I just went on to the Googles, as it were, and here it is. Amperes, length of feet. I typed in, what did I use as a 12-volt power wire calculator. Boom, it came right up. So here's what you have. On the left, right hand, on where it says amperes, that's your amperage, how much power you're going to be drawing. So easy enough to look at the fuse. So if it has a 60 amp fuse, you're going to be drawing between 50 to 65 amps. If it has 120 amps of fuse, 120 to 150. Next is the feet. How many feet are you going to be running? Something else to keep in mind on that amperage draw. Sometimes they overfuse amplifiers now. So if you can find it in print somewhere, that would be better. However, you kind of just have to go with what they're doing. So if you have 125 amps of current draw and you're going to be running 6 to 19 feet, that puts us at 0 gauge. If we're running 13 to 16 feet, it says we can get away with a 2 gauge, but more than likely at that point we're just going to run a 0 gauge. 4 gauge, you can just kind of track down through here. So 4 gauge, that 16 to 19 feet that most cars are, is good for anywhere between 105 to 125 amps of power, which is right about normal. That's usually, although, I mean, we've seen some of them come with a 150 amp fuse, which is kind of ridiculous. Yeah. This is OFC only, correct. This is oxygen-free copper only, not the other crap. But this is a simple chart. This answers all those questions. This will let you. It's basically the cheat sheet. You know, you print it up, you stick it on the wall, you take a tape measure, or you run a piece of remote wire through there, and you're like, okay, this is how long it is. You come over, you measure it, and you say, all right, I have 16 feet. I have 40 amps of current draw. And you come down here and you go 40 amps of current draw at 16 feet. I need an 8-gauge wire. One of the other things too is like we put a lot of amps underneath the seats. We don't care what, if it has a 4-gauge, it gets a 4-gauge, whether it's a 6-foot run or whatever it needs in order to run. But, you know, if you're putting something underneath the seat and it's drawing a bunch of power, you know, up to 100 amps, you could do a 6 or a 4 or an 8-gauge. So 7 to 10 feet, you can run an 8-gauge power wire. I mean, I wouldn't, but you can. But knowing is always the most important thing. A lot of the times, the only thing I can think of why any shop would do that is because they're cheap. And they didn't know what they were doing when they put it in, so they just charged you their going rate, and they didn't even bother to realize it like, oh, that needs 0-gauge. I see that happens more than anything.
People don't care.
No. I mean, think about the one truck we did. They had like 4 amplifiers and a freaking 4-gauge run to it. It was like one 4-gauge. It's like 300 amps of current draw. How it stayed on, well,
I mean, if
it's understandable, but
when you do it yourself, right? That sometimes you don't do the research and you're like, oh, I just buy this and whatever. Okay, but
fang of truth, I melted an 8-gauge wire going to a pair of 80 times 2 realistic amplifiers. I learned my lesson fast, and a long time ago.
8-gauge, huh?
Yeah. Oh.
All right. You guys cut out earlier, right in the middle of your answer with the CO 300 watt 10-inch sub SPL question. The question is, will that the same formula be true for mids, mid-bass, and tweeter?
Yes. However, there's a lot more that gets put into a mid-bass and tweeter. So for example, you know, another thing too, okay, one of the things that's a constant on this is if you're going with the same subwoofers, all right? And that's where this gets weird, and that's where this plays out more to mids and highs. So, let's look at it like this. I have a subwoofer that, let's say this subwoofer is 89 dBs of efficient at 300 watts, all right? I get rid of that woofer and I put in a woofer that all of a sudden, let's say it's 92 dBs of efficient. There's 3 dBs there that it just got louder because it's more efficient. 1 watt, 1 meter. That's going to be a louder woofer. Now I add 2 of them and I increase the power. Way louder subs. Oh my gosh. And that's a lot of the times what happens when someone comes and says, I didn't like those woofers. They weren't loud and I put these in and these were way louder. What was the efficiency of the woofers that you took out compared to what you put in? If they're like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 dBs more efficient, then holy cow. Hey Haley, how you doing?
Hi Haley.
Mids and highs kind of fall into the same regards. Let's say you put a set of 6.5-inch Morel Virtus in the door. What are they like? 88? 88 dBs of efficiency? Okay.
88, 89.
88, 89, something low like that, okay? And you're like, man, these sound good, these sound okay. And you put like 70, 80 watts to them. You're like, oh man, I want to get them louder, I want to get them louder. You pull those out and you throw a set of K-ass kickers in there. Well, those are at like 98. They're probably closer to 95, all right? You just got 6 dBs louder with the same amount of power by swapping those speakers out. Holy crap, you're like, oh my God, these things are like so much louder, this is awesome. And it's like, no, they're not. It's just you went to a more efficient speaker, so that is giving that perceived loudness that you were hoping for, that you weren't getting out of the other one. Now, if you would have taken that other speaker and put more power on it, then you would have got the loudness you wanted. But yeah, so where that formula works is if it's the same speaker and you take one and then 2 of the same speaker.
Yep.
But you can always get louder just by swapping the types of speakers. One of the products that we talk about a lot of is the Audison Prima product. And the Prima product is a closed system. You can use it any way you want. Like no one's, you can't tell me what to do, bro. I'll do whatever I want. But what makes the Prima unique is that They made an amplifier, a speaker, and a subline that's designed to work in that whole ecosystem. So you buy that small Prima amplifier and you pair it up with some Prima speakers and a Prima subwoofer, and it's loud, it sounds great, it's amazing because it's an ecosystem of efficiency and power handling that all works together. If you take those speakers out with those amplifiers and you go with an inefficient speaker and put it in there, well, it's not so enjoyable. So that's where you want to keep that in mind. So we hope we hammered that product into the ground.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Haley's having fun.
All right. Can the AudioControl DMA10 do the time alignment automatically?
No, it cannot. No, it cannot. It cannot do that. What would be your favorite system you installed in a Tundra? The Morel. The Morel Virtus and that truck sound phenomenal.
Well, somebody say, what do you think about the Morel?
Yeah, the Virtus and that. We just did one. Was it this week or last week?
This week.
Was it this week?
Uh-huh.
God, I don't remember anymore.
Yeah. All right, Brian Miles, thank you for the 5, man.
Hello from Portugal. What's up, Card Gift? How are you doing?
Can you show me or tell me what type of bolt you use when you have to make your own ground for the amplifiers?
Yeah. Did we turn that on? Did that turn on?
I think so, yeah.
Alright, hold on. We're going to see if the Fernando cam is up and ready. Ah, look at that. It is. Alright, so here's you go. This is where you want to go. It's called positiveground.com. It's a whole kit. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not cheap. But we're professionals and we want you're paying for a professional install. It comes as a 3-part system. You get this guy right here. You get this tapered drill bit right here. And then you get this socket piece. How this works is you take this guy right here and you drill your hole first. You'll notice there's a little nipple right here. That is to line up with that hole. So then you just, and it makes a perfect circle. It uses the hole that you've drilled to do that. And then you take this, you drop your nut onto there. This is a self-tapping nut. So it has, you'll notice there's little tiny flat spots in here, and that's designed to cut the metal for this thread count. You take one of these giant star washers like this, you put it over that, you take your ring terminal, hold on. Let me grab a ring terminal.
But before you do that, they also give you your glasses.
Yeah.
Safety first.
And the
we
goo.
don't use it.
And the anti-corrosion goo.
And the anti-corrosion goo.
Yeah. So you take your ring terminal, you put that on there like that, or actually it'll go like this, and then you screw that into a car. If it's going to go in a place where you can get to the back side of it, which sometimes it does, oh, that's right, I forgot, I'm out of those. They also make a nut that will attach to it. So like a lot of times the truck, we're out of them right now, I have more on order.
These nuts?
Yeah, these nuts. So that's it, that's the whole system, and you buy it directly from this company. And I will show you the company one more time. It's called positiveground.com. The one nice thing is if you just want, you can buy everything a la carte. So if you just want these, if you just want the nuts, you buy those. The ring terminal we get from Stinger. You know, you can buy the star washers. You can buy this. This thing is stupid money. I swear to God, they must make these like one at a time somewhere. But yeah. That's what we use.
There you go. Positive.
Positive. Positive.
Positive ground. So it's not that much positive.
No positivity in the world anymore. Everyone's just negative. I have a 2013 Ford Fusion. I went to update the speakers, keeping factory radio, don't trust shop around me in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, wow. I like his name.
What's his name?
Your Highness.
Your Highness. Thank you, Your Highness. You're
Thank
the best.
you for the 5.
High five. Anyways, that ground kit is as satisfying as a Fernando fuse holder.
What's that?
The Fernando fancy fuse holder. Preference, crimp terminals or solder. It depends on the terminal. So really the only terminals we use are ring terminals and fork terminals, and sometimes, obviously, some speaker terminals.
Yeah.
We do a lot of soldering. And a lot of soldering of the terminals on. However, when I'm doing a big zero gauge, I'm using a pneumatic crimp tool. Like we're getting this stuff done. So ring terminals, I will typically crimp those on. Sometimes I'll go back and solder them on. Just depends where they're located and if that's totally necessary. But
do you tune customer install afterwards?
Customer install?
Yes.
Why would
I think we did one or twice.
Not many. We don't have time.
We don't have time. And when we have something like that, we have to go through everything. You know, like test the polarity, and if anything is backwards, we gotta take the door panel out and do it. So sometimes it's like
it's most of the time it's not really quick.
But if you can make an appointment and we can go through that, yeah, why not?
Yeah. But a lot of the times, you know,
it's just
we just don't get into it because we just don't have time.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin, for the 5. Help. I want to install a kicker key and a 2011 Equinox to the factory radio, a non-Pioneer. What plugs do I need?
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
What plugs do I need?
Hold on there. Keep reading something.
All right, I know you said gains. Oh, what? 0-gauge power wire. Okay, that's another conversation.
All right, here we go. MetroOnline.com. What year was that car?
2011.
2011. This is the internet, guys. A lot of this information is really easy to get to.
They just came out this one last week.
It's a Chevy.
Yes, that will be a Chevy.
It's an Equinox.
Chevy.
Equinox. Look at that.
Yeah.
Submodel. Let's go LS. I mean, it should all be the same. You were thinking LT? Oh, there's the big dash. Metro antenna. All right, so that's the antenna adapter. Metro replacement antenna adapter. Speaker adapters. Speaker harness. Add a remote start. Replace factory radio. Ooh, backup camera retention. Retain steering wheel controls. And that's where we're at. So we have absolutely no harness action going on anywhere in this. So that means that this kit comes with the harness, and it does. So that's a Chevy. That's the Camaro harness. So that's the Camaro harness there. They do make a in and out for that. So this is one of those things where it gets fun, and you have to dig deep into finding these harnesses. Yeah. I don't have an answer for you is what I'm getting at, but this page, they make these harnesses. You have to do the same work that we do when we need to find that harness, is we dig deep into that and we keep going until we locate the harness. Those pieces are there. They're buried in there. It's just finding them. That harness it's the same harness they use in a Camaro. You might be able to find it through iData might make one. I don't know, but there will be a male and female harness in there. I know they make it. I just don't know what to tell you. And yes, sometimes we'll sit there and we'll spend a half hour, 45 minutes digging through these things, trying to find these adapters because they're just not readily available. So for example, one of the harnesses that everyone has been asking for is this one, and this is the harness for a brand new GM car that uses the new square plug. This is an extension cable that they make for their DSP. It's not even like a T-harness, it's really nothing. But we need the ends, that's what we need. We need those ends. So they make these Metro makes the A, so they're there. It's just digging through it. Now, the easiest way to dig through this site is up here where it says search by part. You can type in anything you want. So you could type in GM harness. You can type in T-harness. There's all kinds of things. So just you spend the time and you boom, it's there.
All right, hang on.
I'm hanging on.
Hang on, I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find that. Where is it?
I mean, we can always go back here.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it right here.
Oh.
Right.
What were we looking for?
Haley.
Haley?
Haley put something right there.
Oh. What did she say?
Okay, after the lie, Please go and watch the news. Boring Life episode.
That's new. That's
I'm sorry. The new episode of the Boring Life. If you haven't watched it already. It is fun.
So she's over there cutting a promo.
Yes, she is.
If you'd like to see me do some carpool karaoke with Haley, go check out the newest episode of The Boring Life of Dean and Haley here on YouTube. It's kind of amusing if you're into that kind of thing. I suck at singing, so you can imagine how bad it is.
I cannot say your name, but... Alright. THX.
Yes.
THX for all you videos. It's warming my heart to see such passion to your work and effort for quality work. Please do a video about properly set up an amplifier with common tools from Russia. With love.
THX is thank you, by the way.
Okay.
It's also the old format that we used to have in audio, but yeah, THX means thank you. When we do videos, we try to use common tools. We usually show both things you can do with professional tools and things you can do as a DIY if you don't have professional tools. We try to do that as much. Oh, Haley's cutting a promo on me. Don't sound so excited. Jeez. I'm just tired, man. That's all it is. I'm tired. I'm moving kind of slow today. I've had a headache like all day. I mean, just pounding. So I'm just trying to get through this,
Suck
guys.
it up, man. Suck it up.
Yeah.
Come on.
It was amusing. It was. Harbor Freight is your friend. Harbor Freight is your friend. Oh, my God. I love Harbor Freight. Do I not love Harbor Freight?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude. Haley hates going to Harbor Freight with me because she's like, we're going to be here for a half hour. And I'm like, yep, grab a shopping cart. We're going grocery shopping. I will go in there, and if I need a set of open-end wrenches, like the other day, we needed a open-end standard size wrench. Remember that? And we're like, neither one of us had an open-end, and so we're in there with an adjustable crescent wrench sitting there like, God, this sucks. No, screw that, man. I went there that Sunday, and I bought every single open-end wrench those guys had. And then I came to work, and I didn't even have a place to put them. I don't even know where they're at right now, to be honest with you. But we got them. I bought. I mean, you could buy all of them. It was like only a couple $100. It was wonderful.
All right, T. Hetzler. Thank you for the 5, man. 2012 F-150 with a sink. Would you need juice head unit?
Yeah.
iData link. Keeping everything at least stock. I just want to upgrade the head unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can totally do that. That is, yes. iData in there, no problem. Yes, 100%. That's all you need to do. You're golden. But I always go with you. Yes, you do, Haley. And yes, the quote of "I'm tired all the time." You're a kid. You're always tired. Why do my AM frequencies suck on my car? Well, because it's AM.
AM.
AM sucks. AM
on every car.
On every car. Here's the thing with AM that you have to keep in mind. AM is the most susceptible to the noises created by the car. If, like a new radio's AM sucks, but that's why they came out with HD. So if you have a car or a new radio that has an HD tuner, it will do a better job with AM than the previous stuff. For like the last 15 years, though, AM tuners have been getting worse and worse and worse. Back in the day, you would actually use an AM radio, little handheld AM radio, as a noise detector to help you find where things were wrong in your car. It was great for that. So now you put it, and yes, but that's why AM just sucks. Got to make a decision today, mixing stock battery or dry cell. Man.
He said juice.
I mean, if it's going under the hood, an AGM would be the way to go. But
okay,
you can listen to an AM radio. Who in the world is listening to AM radio? We got to. I totally understand. We have a couple AM stations here that are really popular, and yeah, they want to listen to the AM. And it's like, the nice thing is a lot of those AM stations now are HD and or their FM parent companies are rebroadcasting them on their HD. The other thing, too, to keep in mind is some of these AM stations are on HD Radio, the app, or iHeartRadio, are on iHeartRadio, so that you can just stream it from your phone directly into your radio. And not only that, it'll be stereo, and you won't have any issues. Both
All right.
batteries.
Thank you, Stephen, for the 5, man.
Lithium or AGM for sure.
Lithium.
Yeah, Jeff has that lithium in his car that he's really excited about. Yeah, dude, that's tough. But
that was this one was good. It is really a preference, but with the AudioControl LC 5.3 1300, now I don't see any reason to not go with that beast. That's a good amplifier. Very nice amplifier.
Beast.
Yes.
Someone asked a question about going with 2 of the ACM 4.300s, but I don't remember. I didn't get to see what it was past that. Aim reception. All right. Well, there's a lot of comments going on about the
Fernando is 411 and boots. Actually, I'm 4.3, man.
Dean, what's the most common cause when there's not getting enough voltage from the batteries to the distribution block in the back? Got a 0 gauge OFC and a 4 gauge going to my amps, which don't turn on. Voltage loss is what we're talking about. A lot of the times voltage loss in a newer car is caused because it's a newer car and the ground plane for the car sucks. If you'll notice on the F-150s, those are made out of aluminum and we just run a power and ground. Something like Tahoes or longer body cars where you're connecting the grounds in the back of the amplifier, you run into an issue there. What you want to do is check your ground plane resistance. To do that, you can use your digital multimeter to see what your resistance is between where you've grounded your amplifiers and the battery themselves. If it's high, then that's going to tell you, or low, depending on how you're reading the meter, that's going to tell you have a ground plane problem, and it will make sense to just run a ground of your own back to the amplifier. That's not always the case, though. Jesus, I can't even talk tonight. That's not always the case, though. Sometimes it's a crappy fuse. A lot of these fuses come from places that don't exactly have stringent quality control, and they aren't very well made, and they can add a lot of resistance there. Another thing too that is one of the most anymore, people just don't think about it, is the remote turn on. Most modern radios have enough power to turn on 2 things. That's it. If you have a power antenna and an amplifier, that's actually more than 2 things, because most amplified or power antennas are actually drawing more than the output of the radio. So it sometimes will, like in a Pioneer, it has a circuit breaker and it will turn off the output of that remote turn on. Adding a relay to the remote turn on will solve this, of course. But that's really about it. Those are the only problems you're going to run into. It's either a voltage caused by a ground plane and or power or bad fuse, or it's remote turn on. Amplifiers aren't real magical. They either turn on or they don't.
Alright, why won't you grab CD with test tones to USB flash drive for testing head units that doesn't have CD players? It's time you stop using the phone.
Why would I stop using the phone? Alright, here's the reality of it. You wanna take this one?
No, I mean
you can. I'll let you.
No, it's like, it's easy.
Hit him hard, Fernando.
No. It's easy for us because everything that we need, it's in my phone, right? You can grab a USB drive, a thumb drive, whatever you like. You put it on. And then you gotta wait until the radio recognizes where it goes. So in my phone, we have the Dropbox. The Dean has it. And we already know where we're gonna go and where we're gonna plug it in and everything. So it's just, I feel it's personal preference. If you like to use a thumb drive, whatever you like, fine. You know, phone works fine. Everything is in my phone. Everything is in Dean's phone. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people use USB drives to do the test.
Where is it?
There's nothing wrong with that.
All right, the other part of that is, what is the customer using at the end? They're going to be using their phone. They're going to be streaming their phone. They're going to be streaming Spotify, Pandora over Bluetooth. So if I use the most high-res file possible to set this system up, it might not sound good because it's not tuned for what they're going to be using. This is and I can't send you a link to it, so don't ask. So we use Dropbox. And what I do is I take all the CDs, all the test tones, all the unadulterated everything, and I put them in their uncompressed, unmolested form. I upload them to my Dropbox account. And there's where they sit. So these are all the cool, we'll go to files and we'll go to test CDs. So here they are. Here's all of the CDs that we need are all right there.
Everything. And
so, it's just like using a thumb drive.
Now, if we need what do you have it?
Oh, if I need a test tone?
Yes.
Well, if I don't have that test tone on there, then we'll go back to this. So for test tones, we just go to Educar's Test and Tune, and here is all my 40, 250, 1K, 8K, 0, -5, -10. Just tap it. So we pick that, and it's done. Pick this, pick that, it's done.
And then you go to Tune.
And this isn't a cheap app. This was made to sound good. We go to the tune side of it. Now I got mono pink noise. I have center pink noise, left of center, right of center, left, right. I have pink noise, bass pink noise, mid pink noise. I'm sorry, mid bass, mid range, treble pink noise. It's phenomenal, by the way.
Now, when you're doing something like that and then you're done, right? And then you're gonna go right away to make songs, so see how it sounds. You just close that app and go to your music. So for us, it's easier than having a thumb drive.
It's not even the easy part of it. It's just what makes sense.
Oh, we're lazy.
I'm gonna go with what makes sense
to
me.
Yeah.
Dean, I have an ACM 4.300, an ACM 1.300, powering a Kicker 12-inch downfiring. I am thinking to change to an LC 61200 and a Kicker 801. I have also an 810. Thoughts? Why wouldn't you just go to the LC 1.800 would be my first thought, just because the brain inside of me, when things don't match, things don't match. But yeah,
it's
I mean
4.300, 1.300.
I mean, if you just want to go louder, I mean, you could easily just go up to the LC 5.1300. If you want to go active, I see what you're thinking there. But yeah, that'll work too. But,
all right.
I mean, I want stuff that matches, just out of pure thought.
American Made, thank you for the $3.99, man. We appreciate it. S Sodas, thank you for the 5. I got a 2013 Escape using the stock head unit. Gonna go with the Maximos on the front stage and the key 204.
Okay.
And the 500.1. Will a key lock be unnecessary, or what would you say?
What kind of car was it?
It's
doesn't say.
Oof, it doesn't say. Oh no. Yes.
Ford Escape.
Escape 2013.
Oh yeah, you asked this the other day. And I think I answered it with the fact that like Haley has the Escape and we just used the Kicker key on it. We didn't bother to mess with it. Kicker does recommend that as a option
DEQ it.
To DEQ it. Here's the thought process behind that, just to make sense of it. The Kicker key amp just takes what it has and applies a EQ curve to what it's seeing. It will push it as far as it can, and that's all it'll do. If you're starting with a not flat signal, which most of the time you are, it will boost or cut whatever it is to try to hit its target curve, and it works really well. If you use it on an aftermarket radio that has a flat response, sometimes you will get better results depending on how intense the EQ curve is in the car. It's a highs amp, so worrying about bass roll-off really isn't that important. Now into it for the subwoofer side, so it will fix it will DEQ the situation and make it sound fine. But the key amp does not. So if you add a key lock in there before the key amp, it will DEQ the system, flatten it out, remove all pass filters if necessary, and give you the best sound possible. So you're stacking key technology. Are you totally going to need it for your car? If you want the best of the best, spend the $150 and get it.
Do it.
It's not going to hurt anything. Okay? Will it sound better? Probably.
All right. Do it without it, and then if you feel that, like, you know what, I'm going to see, then you can buy it.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad, but it's like, yeah. Rob, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
No So real quick, before you talk any more questions, unless you got some, do we have any?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
No. Thank you, Rob. I say.
Okay. What a guy.
Yeah.
Well,
We stop again.
No, it's buffering big time.
My phone is buffering. Mine too.
Yeah, no, the whole thing is buffering. I just want to end this. I want to get through the end.
Do you recommend a JL Audio Fix 86 over the AudioControl C7i?
Yeah, they're different animals.
They're totally different, man. Yeah, the Fix is gonna... Yeah. Like the LC7i is just gonna pass the signal. The Fix is actually gonna clean the signal.
I think it's
no,
stuck.
it's just that one is stuck. I'm fine in this side.
Are you getting?
Yeah,
you're getting stuff.
I'm still
Okay.
getting stuff.
All right. Well, let's just get to let's try
right.
to get through that. Hold on.
All right, this is before.
Where's it at? Why is that still up?
Got
There
it.
we go. Yeah, I got it. All right.
All right.
Real quick, the sponsor of today's show is AudioControl. Check out their new ACX BT1 Element Ready Bluetooth dongle. This will turn any amplifier, not just theirs, anyone's amplifier, into a Bluetooth amplifier. And it's Element Ready, which means you can put it in your jet ski, your side-by-side, your ATV, add it to their new ACX amplifiers. I want to make sure I said that right.
Yeah.
Yep, ACX 300.4 amplifier. Add this to it, and you have an awesome system that you can just add into anything and have a lot of fun with. You can find that at www.audiocontrol.com. We'd like to thank them for being a sponsor of the show.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And
All
with
right.
that, one more? What do you got?
We have two more.
Two more.
That's
Give
it.
them to me.
All right. Mighty Mike, thank you for the $4.99, man. 2015 F-150. Keeping the factory radio. What equipment do you recommend I use to upgrade a whole system? That is not expensive, but not cheap.
I don't know if it has a Sony system or not. I'm assuming it doesn't. DSR1, Maestro DFO2. That'll integrate in your factory radio, reflash the radio, give you a variable voltage 4-volt preamp output. Take that into an LC 5.1300 from AudioControl. You're going to use the DSR1 for the DSP. You're going to use the AudioControl for massive amounts of power. Look at the Focal plug-and-play speakers that they make for the new Ford F-150s. Phenomenal, reasonably priced, simple enough to install because they're plug-and-play. They look just like the factory speakers. You won't have to go out and buy fastenings. You won't have to go out and buy brackets because they're all part of the factory speaker.
Yeah.
They make a 6x9 component and a 6.5 for the rear. Add some form of subwoofer underneath the rear seat. Our personal favorite for the truck is going with the Kicker Compartees. 210s would be what I'd recommend. You could check out some Rhino Line boxes out there. There's plenty of them to choose from. Run a 4-gauge power and ground. We like to use the Stinger marine wire. That's why it's yellow and red.
Yep.
Or just get any power and ground of length to matter. You can make an amp board to put the seat on the driver's side. And that's a simple system. Reasonably priced. It'll sound really nice and it'll be happy.
All right.
Next question.
All right, next question. I installed a subwoofer and a BMW M3 2008, and the bass goes crazy using an LC1I connected to the factory sub, and the factory subs are blown.
Couple things could be happening. One, you got to make sure you disconnect the factory subwoofer if it's blown because it will short out the input to the LCI. That's bad. Two, you have to make sure the car doesn't have any form of automatic noise canceling or fake engine noise in it. Some of the BMWs do. There's a module that you can unplug located next to the amplifier, the factory amplifier if it does. Sometimes also if it has an outboard factory sub-amplifier, if you go through the preamp section, because it's a preamp out of the amplifier into the factory sub-amp, you can just solder on RCAs and go that way, which the LC1I would work as well because it's a line driver as well as a high-level to low-level adapter. You have the right piece, there's something wrong with the car causing the issue. Definitely just Google fake engine noise and
the M3 2008 BMW.
Some of those times it's as easy as unplugging the module and or pulling a fuse. But yeah, ANC. Look at Bobby's all up in the ANC.
ANC, baby.
Do you have any Laffy Taffy? No, I had it earlier today. I had some, and yeah, that's what got me through the morning.
All right, Coronas, brother. Coronas.
Coronas for everyone.
Coronas for everyone.
Just not the.
Let's go.
Just not the bad one.